Hello, guys. Thank you for tuning in to episode 16 of the Whips Nation podcast. I'm your host, Alex, and we are back to give our PLL playoff predictions, go over individual player awards, and we rank every lacrosse helmet on a tier list. So you already know it's going to be a good one, so kick back, relax, and enjoy the episode.
Run away, run away, run away. Don't run away, run away. Run! Up on the mountain, or see down below. It's easy to lose yourself, I know. Can't hear what you're shouting, I'm deaf to your show. It's easy to lose your self-control. Everybody gets high, everybody gets low.
Special thanks to Jake Pomeroy for the new intro music. You guys can check out his band For the Better on Apple Music or Spotify and check out their website forthebetterband.com for show dates. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Whips Nation podcast. We got Max, Leo, and myself here. Max, what have you been up to since last episode?
Oh man, just working a lot, coaching, and I found out that I am officiating a wedding in about a month, and I tried my tux on, and it's a little snug.
Yeah.
So
is it Leo's wedding?
No, not yet, not yet. I'm expecting my invite any day now to that one, but gonna come out to sunny Minnesota for it. But yeah, so hitting the pavement quite a bit, trying to lose a couple lbs. I mean, the tux fits. It's just a little snug, you know. So I'm gonna be standing in front of a bunch of people I don't know. Don't want to look like that.
Yeah. Fair enough. Leo, what have you been up to?
Yeah, just working, coaching. The summer season ended, but I'm gonna be coaching the fall and box leagues. Other than that, just doing the same thing every single day, which is really fun.
What's it's the Gray Ducks?
Yeah, Gray Duck Lacrosse Club.
That's lit. We gotta get
best club in Minnesota.
We gotta get some merch.
Aren't you making the logo? Aren't you making the logo for that?
Yeah, I'm updating the logo. It's taken. We just got our new gloves and helmets out. We're doing a red chrome helmet. It looks really cool. We're working on the logo more now.
Sweet.
Sick.
Hard to go wrong with red chrome. Honestly.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
Yeah, it's real nice. All the kids are really loving them.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yes.
Absolutely. Kids love gear, It's let's see, what have I been up to? I don't know. As everyone knows probably by now, we're having a baby, so getting the room and everything ready, buying a crib, getting clothes, like all that kind of stuff. So that's been kind of taking up my weekends and doing projects and different things like that. Also, one thing Max forgot to mention is we're putting on Arizona's first Sixes tournament. So yeah, so if you're a coach in Arizona and has a team in 5, 6, 7, 8 or a high school, let me know, and we'll get you signed up. So super excited for that. Coach Landon and Arizona Christian are helping us run that. They also have chrome red helmets as well. So
their helmets are good.
Yeah, their helmets are sweet. They remind me a lot of the ones that you texted us, Leo. And also, we are all in a fantasy football league together. Us and a bunch of people from the Whips Nation Discord. Leo, why don't you list off some of the team names in there that are Whips related?
Yeah, I'll start with mine. So last year I was fourth and fourth and done. This time I'm cursed and goal. We also have you keeping Red Zed Redemption.
Yep, that's right.
We have how much wood could Chaney chuck?
Oh, that's good. That's better than mine.
Yeah, yours is Kyler Chana chucks it, which is it's all right. We got.
I had to change it at the last second, and I panicked and I just pulled the ripcord, but I didn't think it was that bad.
We got Phipps and Chips, Descendants of Khan, and then we got my absolute favorite one, Spanky's is Rabel Squad Spanky. Which is the worst team name.
It's the worst team name. Horrible.
So I told him to change it. He said he would. He did not. So
he did not. That's horrible.
There you go.
Well, let us know what you guys think in the comments below on who had the best team name. Red Zed Redemption, is my personal favorite just because I don't even know that I made playoffs last year, so it truly will be a redemption year for me and my squad.
If Spanky ever ties, I think he should automatically lose the tiebreaker. Just based on name alone. Like, there's
terrible.
It's horrible.
Well, everyone was shitting on Spanky during the draft, but
he has two kickers and 2 defenses, and the guy that got shot.
Yeah, he got like auto drafted for like half of it, so we're not sure what was going on there. But
wow,
we put in all of our teams in like the Fantasy Pros like league analyzer thing, and I had the number 1 draft, and Spanky's wasn't last, so there was someone that drafted worse than Spanky.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. It was Hugh. Yeah, Hugh had technically a worse team.
Well, yeah, didn't he draft? He drafted like a bunch of he drafted a second quarterback like before any bench players.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what you guys are wild in that draft. I can't keep track of that, but
I got Kirk. I'm not happy about that. So
I mean, look, sometimes you gotta go with the speed of traffic. That like, obviously you want to take your kicker and your backup quarterback at like at the absolute end or whatever, right? But like if people start blowing it up and start taking kickers and defenses early, you kind of have to do something, or else you're going to end up with anything Minnesota.
True. Yeah, we're recording this on Thursday. It's the kind of opening day for the NFL season. I have Josh Allen playing tonight, Allen Robinson playing tonight. So, yeah.
I don't have anybody.
And Tyler Bass, my kicker. So I have 3 players playing tonight, and I'm playing Team Bagel, whoever that is. So
I have that is no clue. It doesn't have a name. The only guy I have tonight is Gay, the kicker.
Okay, nice. So yeah.
Can I fast forward to Leo's shitty take on the peanut butter? Leo doesn't like peanut butter. Oh
yeah, that might be the worst take of all time.
I gotta know, like, have you tried different peanut butters? Is it like I like crunchy but I hate smooth? Like, what is it? Like, why? Peanut butter is goated.
I think it's super overrated. I will only eat extra crunchy. I think.
Well, yeah, crunchy is where it's at for sure.
Crunchy's way better. I do enjoy a crunchy peanut butter and strawberry jelly sandwich.
Okay.
But just a spoonful of peanut butter. It's kind of like the thing with my thing with cheese. I can't eat cheese plain. I can't eat peanut butter plain.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys. I had a peanut butter spoon before this. Needed a little bit of protein, some energy.
Like Ted Lasso, you just keep the top off the jar every time you walk past. Just a finger pull. Yeah.
Yeah. So had to do it.
Man, I switched over to PB Fit, which is like the powdered stuff.
The powdered stuff. I see that in Costco.
It's honestly like it's a little bit of an adjustment, but once you get used to it, it's so much healthier. And it's like I don't even tell the difference at this point. It's actually a little bit sweeter, even though there's way less sugar in it. So
nice.
Yeah,
dude. So I haven't seen this since I lived in Chicago, but the Reese's peanut butter had had less sugar and like less like fat than like Jif. And I would always go for like the Reese's because it was like sweeter, but it wasn't as bad for you. It was totally weird. Anyways,
skip the extra crunchy is where it's at, but I skip the extra crunchy. It's like if I was going to choose my taste, skip the extra crunchy.
Yeah, I got the normal Skippy that you get in the store. But keeping this thing moving, we have something special for you guys. We have a helmet tier list. So very excited about this. I know before this list even came into our ideas, right, for the show notes, I kind of already knew which helmet would be, the tippy top, and people are probably guessing right now. But let's get that'll come later. That'll come later. Okay, so this first helmet, Leo, what am I looking at?
I believe it's the white one with the big holes.
Yeah, yep,
so
big holes.
I don't know the exact model, but it is a Brine Lacrosse helmet. Rest in peace, Brine.
Okay.
The holes, if you haven't seen it in person, I was coaching in tryouts. One of the young kids had it. The holes are like an inch thick. They're massive, and there's like 40 of them.
Yeah, it looks
the Triumph.
No, that's the last one. This thing it looks like a youth helmet, or like maybe the helmet before the Triumph.
I believe it was before the Triumph.
Yeah, I think this is kind of like the kid that you just know you're about to dust in one-on-one. So I'm gonna put this in D. Just not
yeah.
not a great looking helmet.
That's like
sure.
the U10 special, like Play It Again Sports. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Is this the burn?
We got
Leo?
this is the burn.
Okay. I actually like the burn. I think it's Warriors probably Warriors' best helmet.
That's not saying much.
Yeah, I would put that like top of B tier. Yeah, no, it's overall it's a pretty good looking helmet. I think it totally depends on the jawbone. If it's a different color jawbone and it matches the face mask, that goes to A tier. But just most of them just kind of have the same, and it just looks weird. It looks like a ladder, kind of like climbing up the jaw of someone's helmet. I don't know. It just doesn't look great to me. Thoughts?
I can't stand the burn, especially when it has the different color jaw piece. I think it's one of the ugliest.
What if it matches the helmet though? Like, what if it has a black face mask with a black jaw with like a colored top? It looks sick.
That looks way better.
Yeah.
But I still really not a fan of that chin. The weird angle in the back. I'm just not a fan of it. I'd give it a C tier, because it can be all right.
Yeah. I give it a B. I think it's all right.
I think it's solid.
I think it has some interesting lines. I mean, I think the fact that there are all the holes on the side, obviously, I think what they were going for was trying to make it lighter.
Yeah.
I rocked the Riddell in college because I had too many concussions, and so the lighter the helmet, the better. I mean, that thing was so heavy. But yeah, I'm all about kind of lightening it up and making it easier for the player.
Next, looks like the Cpxr. Is that right, Leo?
Yep.
I love this helmet. Straight up to A tier.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. I think that the R was probably, and I'm going to be an old man coach here. The R was like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, like leap forward in terms of like anti-concussion technology. And so as a coach, obviously I want the kids to look good and all that stuff, but like their brains are more important to me than how their helmet looks. And so for that reason alone, I put it at for me, the minimum has to be an A, because it did a lot for the game. It's kept a lot of people playing and on the field. So
definitely
props to Cascade.
This next helmet was one that almost didn't make the list because Leo didn't even know it existed. I'm like, where's the Raptor? Where's the Raptor? So Easton released the Raptor, and I want to say 2011 or 2012. We had one player on our high school team buy this helmet because he had a Cpxr that snapped like on the jaw, and his parents were like, no, we're not buying another one of those. So what else is new? And this was kind of like the newest thing, and it just looked dust. It's going into D tier. Probably like the ugliest helmet on this list.
That's really horrible.
Easton never made another helmet again.
So bad.
This is a one hit nowhere. Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, this looks like something that like a grandparent would buy their grandkid. This is the coolest new. I mean, it looks like a catcher's helmet. Like, it's so bad. It's so long. It's like a tomahawk.
It's bad. It's really, really bad.
I'm looking at other pictures.
That's probably the best angle that you can find too.
Yeah, if you do Easton Raptor, the one you're showing is the one that's the best angle.
I tried to find the most flattering image of that one.
Because you should have gone the opposite. Because let's be honest, this was always going to get shit on. So you should have gone with it. So bad.
It's really bad.
Really bad.
What's this next one?
Bad one? This one is the Warrior Burn. Oh, Evo. I mean,
it's the Evo. Yeah. That was pre-burn.
Yeah, this helmet to me only looked good on the head of Mark Matthews at Denver. That's just what I envision when I look at this helmet. It's not great. It's definitely better than the ones I have in D, so I'll kind of situate that one in C.
The fact that it only it's the way that the face plates, like, it's different angles.
Yeah.
It's just so goofy. It just looks so asymmetrical. It just messes with my brain. I can't handle it.
Yeah, it's like they try to like merge like a hockey helmet, like a face mask with like a lacrosse. It looks very odd to me. Next one. This one was kind of controversial when it came out. It's Cascade's newest helmet, the XRS.
Yeah.
I really, really like my XRS. It's super light, very comfortable. I think at first it had way too many angles, but as college teams started to kind of adopt the helmet, people kind of came around to like, oh, this helmet's actually pretty sick. The one beef I have with it is it doesn't have very much room for decals. Like the decal space on it's so small, so there's only so much you can do from a design perspective, and it's like the one thing that to me kind of keeps it out of S tier because it is a pretty cool looking helmet.
Yeah, and I'll just go old man coach mode again. It is for all the kids out there, buy this one. This is the best anti-concussion helmet you can get for the parents that are watching. Like, buy that helmet. I get that it's expensive. It's like $225 or whatever, but like the reason I spent $80 on helmets when I was in college and had a bunch of concussions is because they sucked. And this one's $225 because the technology is worth it.
It's this. Your kid will also look super cool.
Yeah, they look steezy for sure. One thing to note, you could probably get a discounted rate if you buy through your club. They'll usually try to buy in bulk so that they can get like a similar looking helmet, and you might be able to get a deal that way. Okay, Leo, what the hell is this?
This is a gate helmet.
That's
Virginia.
disgusting. That's disgusting.
That's
That's even worse than the Raptor.
It looks like it. You know what it looks like? It looks like one of those like. Do you remember the grenade water balloons? The water balloons that look like grenades that you'd fill up.
Yeah.
That's what the texture of that looks like. It just looks like cheap plastic.
Yeah, for you listeners on Spotify that are listening to us talk about this helmet, you could look it up. It's horrible.
Just look up gate helmet. It'll come up. It's the Virginia one. It is horrendous.
It's really bad.
Okay.
Also has that asymmetrical face mask too. It looks like a catcher's mask. It's just so bad.
The next one is gonna be
the Bacharach.
Kind of a different conversation because what year did this come out?
Oh, like 1988.
I feel like this is it vintage or is it trash?
That's the Bacharach, right?
I feel like it's vintage.
This was like the last dying breaths of Bacharach as I started playing. Like, you know, that like everybody would rock like the Patriot stick.
Right.
With like the USA on the side.
But like, is it possible to have drip wearing this? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, dude, you're going to see, here's what you're going to see. You're going to go to a men's league game and you're going to see a guy that's about 285 pounds with the biggest calves you've ever seen with like a super heavy long pole, and he's going to be rocking this thing. He has a giant gut that sticks out the bottom of his jersey.
He's washed up, boys. It'll go to C. We'll leave it at C.
He is going to destroy you. He is going to destroy you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll leave it at C.
We can put this next one right in D tier. It's not.
You shut your damn mouth, Leo. We're looking at the pinnacle of lacrosse helmets.
Leo's about to get excommunicated here. You cannot say that to Alex. Alex will kill you.
I will kill you. This is the Cascade Pro 7, the cult classic of helmets, the Babe Ruth of lacrosse helmets. Okay, this is the Babe. This is the best helmet. This is going right into S tier. It has a sleek design, optimal tilt. It's got so much room on the side for decals. The color combinations at the time were so sick. There are people today that are still buying Pro 7s, and they do it for the drip. I mean, what else is there to say, folks?
This is the 5th best helmet on the list.
Absolutely not.
Unfortunately, the Pro 7 came out maybe like a year or two after I stopped playing in college. And so I never got to wear one. Although they wouldn't have let me anyway because I had too many concussions, so I had to wear the Riddell Abomination. But I wouldn't have gotten to wear it anyway. But yeah, no, I'm jealous. It looks good.
Yeah, dude, it's the best helmet of all time. It's funny, the picture that Leo chose is the literal bucket that I wore in high school. It's black with the blue trim, with the blue everything. Like, that's like my high school bucket, so that's sick. Okay, next, the STX Rival. I was really happy with the Rival from their previous helmet. The Stallion, I think is what it was called.
Yeah, the Stallion.
Man,
I
the
was all
rival,
in on that
the
one.
rival's so much better, and
The rival can go anywhere. I feel like it can be anywhere
yeah,
between S and D, depending on like how. Because like this, the one that we're looking at, the Carolina one, is clean.
that's
But
clean.
there are colorways that just make it look. It looks like that your head is so big.
Yeah,
But
big.
like it's. I feel like the actual plastic part of it can look like elongated. You look like you're like Xenomorph from Alien, like you just have this giant head. But like this one, this Carolina one is super clean. Like I put that in S tier because it's a great looking helmet, but it not every colorway works.
No, and for that, I think it's better than the Burn, so I'd put it like top of B tier for me because it's just not as good as like some of those Cascade helmets, but it's the best that STX has ever made.
Yeah.
To me. Okay, we have another one that's an absolute legend. This one probably top of A for me. The Cascade R
So good.
is so good. To me, it's like the perfect blend of like the Pro 7 with like some of these modern like XRS or the S. It's like a perfect blend of those two. Tons of decal space. Great, tilt. The color options at the time were awesome. The colored chins were sweet.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
when I was coaching back in Oregon, there were kids that had the option of buying the S and didn't want to because they thought that the R looked better. And I just, again, I'm more concerned about their brains, and so I convinced them to buy the S. But like the R probably looks better.
Yeah. What's this next one, Leo?
This is the Riddell.
Oh, this is the abomination that Max is talking about.
Yes.
So this thing was when I never played football, and when I had like my 5th concussion or 6th concussion, I don't even remember at this point. But after I had I had 2 really bad concussions in one season, and they wouldn't let me wear the Cascade anymore. I had a small crack on the side of my Cascade from getting stepped on. That was one of my concussions. And so they made me get this Riddell, and it was the heaviest helmet I've ever worn by a huge margin, to the point where I would be standing in a line for a drill, and my head would just start leaning off to the side. And like I would take my helmet off because like the joke was like my neck muscles were going to get so big by the end of the season from like, keeping my head up. But like I would take the helmet off between reps, and the coaches would yell at me. I'm like, man, I don't know what to tell you. Like my neck hurts.
Was it heavier than a football helmet?
I think it was a football helmet. Like I said, I never played football, and the lacrosse helmets are way lighter, and they're basically just, plastic with like a little bit of bubble wrap on the inside. But back in the late 2000s.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you rank this one since I've never worn one, and it's kind of hard to even visualize it from the side there. So
yeah, I'd put it for like visually, I'd put it as a C. I mean, it's the reason I got to play my senior year in college, because
that's reason enough to put it up to a C.
But I still have them. Maybe I'll send them to you, and we can put it up on social media or something like that. But
cool.
The U of A, they got me like decals that like kind of worked. Like my helmet was definitely a little different than everybody else's.
Yeah,
very special. Okay.
Yes.
So the S now, the Cascade S. What are we thinking about the S? I love it.
I like it.
For me, this one's really good. I feel like it's a nice blend between the two, the R and the XRS. The XRS is just ridiculously aggressive. I like it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the S is better in terms of form. It has the right amount of aggressiveness without being like, how many angles can you put on a single helmet?
Yeah.
Like, let's calm down a bit.
Does the S go in S tier?
It's not better than the R for me though.
For sure an A.
I think if we bump the R up to the S, then we can put that in A. But I think it goes in A no matter what. But I kind of want to bump R up to the S tier.
Dude, I'm down. Yeah, we'll move the R up. It's so good. I don't think you caught the S and S tier reference, but I'll let it slide. Okay, next one we got, is that the Stallion?
Yeah.
I hate this helmet.
I have a story about this one. So
it's the best one in D tier. I'll put it there, and then you can tell your story.
a guy on my club team in college, he had this, and he was not good. And we were as a college club lacrosse team does. We're making fun of him for it, and he comes back with trying to defend himself. He's like, "No, guys, it's cool. My mom bought it for me."
Oh.
And we.
Hey, look, the confidence to say that.
Oh yeah. I mean, the confidence was great, but it was the absolute worst thing to say at that moment because, I mean, the rest of the season, he was called Mama's boy.
Oh,
so,
no.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's terrible.
No, I wouldn't. I mean,
Poor
I
kid.
wouldn't defend my style by saying my mom picked it out, but to each their own.
It's
Yeah,
just,
to
this
each
is
their
like
own.
the opposite of the XRS, where there's so many angles on the XRS, but this one has no angles. It's just a
Yeah.
full egghead.
Yep.
So
The
bad.
last helmet is the Brine Triumph. So funny enough, this might age me out a little bit, but freshman year we wore the Brine Triumph, and then by senior year we were wearing the Pro 7. So
Yeah.
for you investigative listeners out there, you can kind of figure out when I graduated. But
He's old.
yeah,
Yeah,
this
you went from worst to first.
I literally went from worst to first. This thing is an abomination. It's going.
This might be the worst. This might be the worst one on the
It
list.
is so bad.
It's really bad.
And the way that you tighten this helmet was so convoluted and like complicated, and everyone's broke like within the first like month of owning this helmet. It was just terrible. It looks like a cross between like a hockey goalie helmet,
it looks like a hockey goalie
catcher helmet in baseball,
Yeah.
and a like a lacrosse helmet. Like it's a combination of three sports that just should not be together. So for that reason, it's
just for whatever
It's an
reason the
abomination.
forehead is like indented in.
yeah.
So bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. It looks like SpongeBob when he's like a Neanderthal and he's like, like the chin just sticks out. I'm glad. I'm really glad I did that on camera.
Yeah, it's not a good looking helmet, but yeah, so that's our helmet tier list. No surprise, Pro 7 and the R take the S tier. The
Yeah.
great looking helmets, if they're still around or if you see them on sideline swap, yeah, buy them. They're cheap. Okay, Leo, why don't you read off some of the PLL regular season awards? The list came
Absolutely.
out earlier this week or last week, so we're gonna kind of give you our take on who we think that should get those esteemed regular season awards. So
Yeah, so the Defender of the Year candidates are Garrett Epple, JT Giles Harris, Graham Hosek, and Matt Dunn. Who do you guys have for that?
done.
Done.
Yeah. I mean, I could see JT. I mean, a lot of people are saying JT. Obviously, we're all going to pick Dunn just because.
Because he's an eraser on the field.
I might actually give it to JT. I was a huge fan of his in college, and he is the definition of an eraser. Where all of the things that I loved about Jared, the way Jared Newman played his rookie year, his first year in the PLL, where he wasn't going for dumb takeaway checks, he wasn't overplaying, he was playing correct angles. Those are all the things that JT Giles Harris does. And if I'm being objective here, JT Giles Harris, you just put him on the best player on the field, and you just don't pay attention to him. And he just, it's like it's the biggest compliment I can give is that I'm never aware. Like you don't even see him play because why dodge against him? He's just you're not gonna get past him. Like I mean I want to homer and say Matt Dunn, but I might give it to JT Giles Harris. The one person that I really like. I love Graham Hossack's game. Garrett Epple is to me is like one of these guys that has his actual ability is so good. And it seems like he cannot keep himself out of the penalty box. And he comes with like, there's like a reckless fury when he plays. And I don't mean that as a compliment, that like when he hits people with the intention of hurting them. And I'm not like throwing shade or anything like that. Like, I think it's pretty clear when you watch him play that there are times when he's out to hurt people. And I don't like watching it. As good as he is, I think that would immediately take him out of any kind of like defensive player of the year award.
Sure.
I think there are times when he's a liability on the field because he can't keep his cool.
Yeah. Fair enough. So Dunn, Giles, and then who you got, Leo?
I'm gonna go Dunn, but I see the I see the argument. So for goalie of the year, we have Kyle Burnmore and then 2 wrong choices.
Yeah, we don't even
That's
need
a
to talk
lot.
about
We don't even
this
need to
one.
talk about that. That's
Don't need to talk about that.
Kyle's in the running for MVP, which,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, he's got my vote for that too. He's had an unbelievable season, especially, honestly, he's up for comeback player of the year, if that was even an award.
Is there a comeback player? I don't think there is, but he
there's
would.
not,
That
should be.
That would be done. Yeah, it would for sure be
Burnley.
He would definitely get comeback player of the year.
So the next
unbelievable.
The next one is short stick D mid, and that is Danny Logan, Ty Warner, and Ryan Terefenko. I'm going with Ty Warner. Again, the thing about him, it was kind of mentioned before, you don't overly notice him on the field because no one is going to do anything against him. He's basically another long pole out there. Mm-hmm. I get the argument for Danny Logan that I'm seeing a lot, but I really just think Ty Warner, people don't pick him because people don't try to do anything against him.
No, it's true. I watched both of those guys in person when I went out to a couple of the PLL games this year, and Danny was a beast. Like, watching that guy in person, like in transition, he's super aggressive. Yeah. But he will get beat. Over pursuing things and being too aggressive, and that just doesn't happen to Ty. He's an eraser out there. He's a matchup guy, and a tough matchup at that. So he gets my vote too.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. I mean, I think I love watching the D-mids get as much love as they do. They it's a league that, because of the shorter middle of the field, it's a league where guys that could play both sides are at a premium, and just seeing D-middies get the love that, as a former D-middie myself, like, seeing D-middies get the love that I think that they deserve. Like, it is a very important position, especially in a league like this where you only have 19 guys, so you might take less short stick D-middies in order to have midfielders that could run two ways. But when you've got some of these guys, especially a guy like Terefenko, who plays box and all that stuff, and are big threats on both sides of the field. But I think that I'd have to say, I think Ty Warner, the underrated part of his game is, I think that, like, his leadership skills as a, look at what the whips looked like last year and then what they look like this year. And I think a lot of it just has to do with, like, again, I'm not in a locker room, so I can't really say, but it's a calming presence to have him out there. I feel a lot better when he's on the field playing defense.
Absolutely.
Well, look at our defense this year compared to last year. The only personnel changes were literally adding Ty back into the mix. Everyone else is the same. Yeah. So, like, literally the same. So, he definitely gets my vote there.
Yeah. So then we got LSM of the year. We got Earhart, CJ Caspiel, and Jared Connors. I feel like this is another one. He's going to win his fourth in a row.
Yeah. He's won the first. Did he win the first three? He won all three of them?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even really think that's a debate.
To me, that's like boxing rules. To beat the champ, you got to beat the champ, and no one else, stood out.
I thought Caspiel had a great season. Caspiel did. He did. And in the midst of chaos, having a very bad regular season, he was one of those guys that anytime he was on the field, you were aware of it. So I'll give Caspiel props, but it's like you said, if you're gonna, either Earhart has to have a bad season because somebody's gonna have to knock him off, and I don't know if anybody did that, but Caspiel, props to Caspiel, had a great season.
Yeah, I also like Kobe Smith too. He's young and everything, and I don't know that
he's fun to watch.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. I think it'll be his award to lose in like 2-3 years.
Sure, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we got Attackman of the Year. For some reason, there's 5 finalists. We got Matt Rambo. Let's go. Jeff Teat, Lyle Thompson, Kieran McCardle, and Rob Pennell.
Lyle Thompson.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, it's kind of one of those. I agree. I think Lyle Thompson is the best, and I would love to see him play on a more competitive team.
I agree. I would like to see him not have to do every single thing every game.
Yeah.
I feel like that just makes him look worse when he has turnovers, but when you are playing 1 against 6, you're going to have quite a few turnovers.
Asher Nolting had a decent season, so I'd say it's like 2 against 6.
1.5 against 6. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah.
Come on, our boy Drenner's out there scoring some G's.
Yeah.
That's true.
Next, we got midfielder. We got Charlie Bertrand, Zach Courier, Tom Schreiber, and Brad Smith. That one I feel like is it's either Schreiber or Courier, honestly.
I'd say Courier.
I'd say Courier.
Schreiber obviously is so good, but he is on a team where it's almost like there's too many options, that there's like too many guys that need the ball. And so it's kind of hard for him to, I feel like, to shine. And I don't think he has a problem with it because he's a very unselfish guy. He's a high assist player as well. But Zach Courier is just the greasiest, like in a good way, in the absolute best way, is the greasiest, scrappiest player, I think I've seen in a long time. Like he just, like, I don't know whether, I know we'll talk about the matchup, but like when he was taking face-offs against Nardella, it's not like he won any draws against Nardella, but he keeps the ball on the ground and keeps it dirty, and he'll do anything. We could put him in any situation. I feel like he'd be an above-average player.
For sure. Yeah. I think Tom Schreiber is the best midfielder in the league, but the one that I want on my team the most would be Courier. Like, if I could pick a single player to join the Whipsnakes other than Lyle Thompson, it would be Courier, obviously.
Zach Courier is like the Draymond Green of lacrosse.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where he's going to fill out the stat page, not necessarily in goals, but like he's going to do everything else.
Yeah, for sure.
Just imagine if Brad Smith still had his mustache. He would run away with the award. It wouldn't even be close.
For sure. And even though he's a Redwood, I don't know where Charlie Bertrand came this year. I mean, he just had an insane year, highlight goals. Don't know where he came from, but you got to give props to him, even though he's a Wood switch teams. I like you a lot more. We got Coach of the Year, Stags, Tim Sudan, and Chris Bates. If Chris Bates wins it, I'm going to throw a fit.
Yeah.
And Sudan, I believe someone is arguing in the PLL group chat is arguing that it shouldn't be Sudan because Chrome wasn't bad last year. Every single player was just injured. Obviously, I'm going to pick Stagnita, but I'm guessing it's going to be Sudan just because everyone thinks Chrome was really bad last year.
I think that's a good point. I think it's got to be Stagnita because...
Yeah, because, dude, Stags hasn't won one yet, and he's been in the championship the last 3 years and won 2 out of 3. Like, that model of consistency and then to get the number 1 seed going into playoffs is just
not just
unreal.
The number 1 seed, kind of running away with the 1 seed. Like, we really had a very dominant regular season.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Still had our 1 goal. I mean, I say dominant. And like 7 wins were.
We win a lot of heart attack games.
We win a lot of 1 goal games, but there's we could be 2-6 or 2-7, but we're not. We're 8. We were 8-1. So.
And that's where the good coaching comes in. It's you're in overtime. How do you win?
Right.
So next we got the face-off of the year, Baptiste, Farrell, and Nardella. Again, this is a 2-man race for me.
Yeah, it is.
Farrell's not even in the conversation.
Yep.
Farrell beats everybody not named Baptiste and Nardella.
Yeah.
Farrell is the best face-off guy who's not an elite face-off guy.
Yeah, like if we were to do tiers for face-off guys, it's Baptiste and Joe in S tier, and everyone else in the league, and it's not even close.
I really
and it's every year. It's every year.
Yeah, I thought TD Erlin was going to be more competitive in the PLL. Than he
fell off.
Was.
TD fell off.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. But yeah, it's a 2-man race here, and I looking at the first half of the season, I would have given it to Baptiste running away, but because he got hurt, he came back. I think he's healthy now, but I mean Nardella has had some dominant performances, some very dominant performances. If I had to flip a coin. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I would flip a coin. Like you could give it to either one of these guys, and you can make the argument for either one.
I gotta go with my boy Joe.
Of course you
man.
do.
He's just he's stayed healthy. Not that that's a slight against Baptiste, but he has more games to kind of stay at that level.
Yeah. Durability matters. Durability absolutely matters. Yeah.
Yeah. I was at the game in Minnesota where Baptiste got hurt. And I mean, he was going against a huge Farrell the whole time. And I mean, it was pretty obvious that something was going to happen because Farrell was just kind of beating him up because he couldn't win any clamps.
That's what you do if you can't win draws. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can move on to the Rookie of the Year. and that is Asher Nolting, Logan Wisnauskas, Brendan Nickturn, and Chris Gray. There should be one answer here.
Nickturn for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think that the expectations were really high for Chris Gray and Logan Wisnauskas, and obviously I think they're both stars. But I think Brendan Nickturn, he had just had such a great season. Him and Wisnauskas really were kind of that two-headed monster, but Nickturn, I don't know, he's just so solid. He's just, I'm excited to watch the two of them. Honestly, all four of those guys, I did not, and I'll fess up here, I did not think that Asher Nolting was going to be as effective of a field player as he ended up being this year. I really thought that his future was more in the NLL. But
Asher's nice.
He absolutely deserves to be on this. If there's a top 4 rookies, like, he deserves to be one of them. Like,
yeah,
I think the one, I guess I would say, I kind of feel like JT Giles Harris should be in this. Technically, it's his second year, but he didn't play last year. So if JT Giles Harris is in this, I think he runs away with it. But
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
yep.
I mean, because
Ben Simmons clause.
Yeah. Yes. There you go. But yeah, I mean, I give it to Nickturn. I give it to Nickturn.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And then MVP. This one is going to have a lot of debate on it. It's Bernlor, Lyle Thompson, Tom Schreiber, and Trevor Baptiste. So I
don't feel like there's a ton of debate with this, to be honest. I think the PLL has 2 back-to-back MVP goalies, and this year it's going to be Kyle.
Yeah,
I agree, but just
because if you look at Blaze's season last year, where he got MVP, and you look at Kyle's, Kyle had a better year this year than Blaze did.
Absolutely, but I think people are going to get it. It's that debate,
and his team went 9-1, and the chaos. Oh, wait, we'll talk about this probably. No, I'm going to talk about it now. Chaos should not even be in the playoffs this year. If the PLL, I'm talking to all you guys, if the PLL stays with the 8-team model next year, a 2-8 team shouldn't be in the playoffs. The playoffs model has to be completely scrapped and reworked to do maybe a best of 3 series with the top 4, the top 6 teams. Like, how much more competitive would regular season lacrosse be if only the top 4 teams made it? It's an absolute joke that a 2-8 chaos team is in the playoffs again. It's like they can coast the whole year so that they win 2 games all season to finally play well in the playoffs, and then they beat Chrome, which is just it's stupid. It's stupid.
Josh Byrne just publicly, on an RJ vlog, just talked crap about the regular season. And the one argument people have about you can't just have 6 teams make it, it's like, oh, then the number 1 team doesn't get a first round bye. Well, they still have a big advantage.
Yeah, they still have a big advantage. They play the 4 seed. Yeah, That's a huge advantage.
I think I agree that I would love to see it like a best of 3. Like, that would be wild.
Dude,
but I think
imagine a Game 3 championship. Oh, that atmosphere would be insane.
I know that the Ravens have talked about fixing the schedule with the NLL, and to me, that is absolutely top of the priority list, because for those NLL guys, I keep smacking my desk, and you can see my camera shake.
It's all right. I already messed it up early. Yeah. Don't worry about
it. But the idea that guys like Byrne and Dane Smith and Blaze and all these NLL guys that are in and Zed, are in the finals and miss
3 weeks.
The first 3 weeks that it was, that it just it's hard to watch, because who knows what the chaos would have actually been had they had a training camp together and had their first.
Still bad.
I mean, you say that, but they're in the semis, so.
Yeah, they won 1 game.
Because they sandbagged the regular season because they're a bunch of dirtbags.
Look, I'm not disagreeing.
I'm sick
with
of
that.
Baldy.
I think when you say Baldy, you're talking about Andy Towers.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I thought you were talking about Jared Newman.
Yeah, that was where my other part of my brain was going. But okay, so back to the actual. We were talking about the MVP award. I want to get back to the MVP award. Well, let's get over this, and then we can go back.
It's Bernlor. Let's just leave that and move on.
Yeah, well, I think that one interesting thing is that had Baptiste not gotten injured, I don't even think he would have won it. I think he would have run away with that. Because he was having
I think so too.
such a great first half of the season before he got hurt. He was as dominant of a face-off performer as we've seen through whatever it was 5
Yeah, he
games.
was a game changer, but he did.
It's hard to say that Lyle Thompson and Tom Schreiber aren't the two most talented players, in the PLL. But
they
what
probably
did this
are.
year, especially coming off of what he did of what happened to him last year, that Berlor, I think it's got to be Berlor. I don't really think that there's a whole lot of debate about it. Now, I think he deserves it. I don't know if he's going to win it because I think politics have something to do with it.
Bernlor's going to win it, baby.
I think that the
Give
league,
it to Kyle. He's going to win it.
Not in a bad way, but I think the league, they love pushing a couple of these guys. Like Tom Schreiber, as phenomenal as he is, stats aren't super.
I don't even know why he's in the conversation. Like, that's such a joke to me.
It's not. It's the talent is as good as anybody is better. Him and Lyle, in my opinion, two most. But again, Schreiber plays for a team that has a ton of options, right? Lyle, you might want to give him the MVP award based on the fact that without him, if he got hurt, if he was hurt or more injured than he actually was, because I'm sure he was hurt this year. But I don't think the Cannons I don't think they win a game, and I don't even know if they're competitive without him. So it's like, who is the most valuable player to their team? Probably Lyle or Kyle.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All right, now back to matchups. First up is we're going to talk about Chaos and Archers. I think they're the second game on the day on ESPN Plus. But we're going to talk about that game first because we saved the best for last, right? First and foremost, Chaos shouldn't even be in the playoffs. So I don't like the Archers, but they just based on like personality and just some of the characteristics of that team. But I think that they have too much offensive firepower for the Chaos to kind of hold off all game long. They lost to Chaos both times that they played this year by like 4 goals or something like that. So if unless the Chaos were just sandbagging both of those games, but I don't know. Yeah. I think Archers take it.
Yeah, I have no faith in Archers in games that matter. They are really good at beating bad teams.
You have two opposite sides of the spectrum. You have the Chaos who are absolute trash during regular season and somehow become superhuman in the playoffs, and then you have the Archers who are like Hercules in the regular season and then lose all their godly power in the playoffs and then get a quick first or second round exit. So
if you look at the Archers roster, they probably shouldn't lose a game, but they lose quite a few games. Just because Neil in the PLL chat, when they played the Whip Snakes, he said he'll get a tattoo if they win the game because he was so confident that they would not win the game. It's true, they don't beat good teams. They just lose to any team that's an actually good team.
They give up a lot of goals. They gave up 8 or more goals every game this season. They didn't have any what I would call like dominant defensive performances. I think that their Inacio is a mid-tier face-off, mid to lower tier face-off guy in this league. Dobson is a mid-tier goalie. I mean, he was like 50% or 51% or something like that. You got Scott Ratliff, but and not to say that they don't have good players, but for whatever reason, I just feel like their defense has never been able to fire on all cylinders, and that's why everybody knows defense wins championships. And so, their inability to step up defensively in big games is why they end up losing. I don't think there's any question that the Archers are a better team. I think the Chaos are going to win this game.
Unfortunately, I agree. I think Chaos are going to make the championship when they shouldn't even be invited. But we should go on to the next game because we don't want to rant about that anymore.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think Archers will win. But if the Chaos make it to the championship, great. Kind of gives us a revenge game, which would be great. Yeah, moving on to Water Dogs, Whip Snakes. Water Dogs were probably the team all year that I thought would be number 2 to the Whip Snakes. I think they're the second best team in the league, and we definitely drew the short end of the stick playing them in the playoffs. But I think it's a close game, like most Whip Snakes games are. But I think we come up top. While you guys kind of give your predictions, I want to pull up some of the some of the odds, the betting odds on that game.
Sure. Leo, why don't you go?
Yeah, for sure. So, as we all know, they played in Minneapolis, and that was the one game they lost all year, and that was the game I was sitting in person at. So I saw their only loss.
Don't go
which
to
is
this.
fantastic.
Don't go to this game, Leo.
Yeah, you're
I don't
banned.
Bad
think
luck,
anyone
man.
wants me to go there. Yeah, but you know, the Water Dogs are the scariest team for sure, and I think the Whipsnakes win it if they have a good first half. If the Whipsnakes don't have a good first half, which they usually don't, I don't think they win, honestly, because the Water Dogs are not a team that I feel the Whipsnakes can climb back against. They can against most teams. I mean, how many times were the Whipsnakes down at half this year and still won? Probably 7, right? But the Water Dogs, I just feel like they are so good at creating a mess on the field and just being a defensive stand that I feel like if they get up 3-4 goals, I don't know how the Whips. I don't feel like any team can come back against the Water Dogs. So if I think this game is won or lost at halftime, right? I think whoever's leading at halftime wins the game. And I honestly don't have a pick. Obviously I'm going to pick the Whipsnakes because I'm biased, but it's a really hard choice there.
So let's talk Vegas for our lacrosse bettors out there. If you live in a state that allows betting, I'm on what app is this? FanDuel. So FanDuel has the odds. So money line, they have Water Dogs plus 140, and then Whips as the favorite on minus 172. That's pretty strong in favor of the Whipsnakes. To me, I think it should be like it should be a lot closer than that. It should be like, honestly, minus 100, minus 100. It makes me happy that Vegas is favoring the Whipsnakes because, it's hard to bet against Vegas. So, but yeah, I would still take Whips money line. The total points, so the over-under is 23.5. Max, what do you got?
For over-under or just my take in general?
The over-under.
I think it's going to be higher than that. I think it's going to be probably 25 or 26. I think
so 24. So that's 12 goals like a team.
Yeah, I think that's going to be higher than that. So here, I think that the big difference here, because I think both teams, between the lines are stacked. These are two very talented teams. The two positions where the Whips have real dominance are faceoffs and goalies. Ward obviously is a legend and great, but had a 51 or 52% season, and Jake Withers was like below 50%. He was like 47. Again, he's kind of like a mid, slightly below average face-off guy in this league. I mean, no disparaging. He's an incredible player, but this is the best of the best of the best, and I think that this game is going to be a dogfight through and through, and I think the difference is, I think that Nardella is going to go on a couple of make-it-take-it runs where we're going to see a goal get scored and Nardella is going to win it, and then there's going to be 2, 3, 4 goals that are put in a row. And so, Leo, I'm actually going to push back on your thought of the Whips can't come back because if they're down 3, 4, 5 goals, I think that Nardella, if he gets hot, if he gets on a hot streak, maybe we see the Water Dogs play very conservatively on the wings. And that's probably going to be their best bet. If I'm them, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to slow down Nardella, trying to push like quick transition goals. Because if he pops it forward, which I think he's going to be able to do a pretty good amount of the time, he's going to, if they're not playing for that, if they're not preparing for that, then I think that we could see Nardella have, maybe like a 1-2 or a 1-3, like a goal and 2 assists or 3 assists. Like that's what I like to see him set himself up for some like hockey assists, because the midfielders aren't going to be really all that they're not really going to be that involved. If Nardella can pop it forward and move it to the attack quick, when our attack is playing unselfishly, they move the ball and they find space and they find opportunities as quickly, as good as any team that we've ever seen in lacrosse. I mean, these are Zed and Rambo are able to effectively take their guys topside, especially in transition, unsettled situations. I think that's where Rambo's at his best. When the ball is moving quickly in transition and he is able to get a step, all he needs is a step above his guy, and once he gets to the island, he is as good as anybody in this league. And so that's where I
probably
feel like
the best, honestly.
Yeah, I mean that's I feel like the two key pieces are, can Ardella play make it take it, and Burlor versus Ward. Like that's a big. I think those are two advantages that the Whips have, and that's why I think the Whips will probably win. I think my prediction is going to be. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I'm going to say 16-11.
All right.
The spread, by the way, is 1.5. So you're thinking that they beat the spread?
I think they go over. Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be more competitive. I think it's going to be a very competitive game. I think the difference is Ardella is going to be able to create offense where I don't see Withers being able to match that.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, my keys, I guess, to this game are pretty similar to you, Max. I think if Joe can really kind of dominate the face-off and get us, more possessions and we start to convert on our matchups. We have two kind of nightmares to dodge, to defend from the wings. We have Zed on the right and then Matt on the left. Those are two very, very hard matchups to defend, and it freed up Carlson to score. Didn't he have like 5 or 6 goals or something like that against Water Dogs when we won originally?
I believe so.
And then we didn't have Carlson the second time we played when we lost. So I think Carlson's kind of an X factor for me this game. I think their defense is a little bit weak off ball. So if we're able to kind of exploit those matchups on the wings, kick it up top to Smith or one of our facilitators, and then bang it inside to Carlson for a little doorstep. Man, their goalie's been on fire as well. And he just got off of winning an NLL championship, so I'm sure he wants a PLL one. So I think the goalies, both of them, are gonna play out of their shoes, and it's gonna take really good shots. I don't think just any shots are gonna go in on any of these goalies. They have to be assisted goals or screen shots, or they can't just be. You can't give these goalies too much visibility, I don't think.
That's where I feel like Rambo is so effective, especially against a guy as tall as Dylan Ward, that Rambo is not necessarily looking for like highlight goals. He finds good angles, and he loves that like low and away corner, especially on like the bounce. And I feel like that's a place where, not to say Dylan Ward isn't good there, but he's what, 6'5", and so when you get a tall goalie, you want to shoot low. And I think Rambo loves to do that. And same thing with Zed. I think Zed has just such good placement. I'd love to see Juicy J put another between the leg one. Let's let him get a little creativity. I think that was when they played in DC last year. So, I'm looking forward to it. I think the Whips need to be unselfish. As long as they're moving the ball effectively, Ardella is winning faceoffs and getting it up to the attack quickly, and the ball isn't dying in anybody's stick. Like, I don't like watching one guy try to Lyle Thompson his way through everybody. There's only one Lyle Thompson, right? And we don't have him. And I think we dodge, draw, slide, pass, redodge, and that's when Rambo and Zed are just going to eat people.
Yeah, hit singles. Yeah.
Hit singles, exactly. Hit singles.
Sweet. Well, that's all we got. I have Archers beating Chaos, advance into the championship. I think we all have the Whip Snakes taking the Water Dogs down and moving on to the 4th consecutive championship. So you love to see it. We'll see what happens. Hopefully I can get this podcast edited and out by tomorrow, Friday the 9th, so you guys can have plenty of time to listen to it before the game. But, that's all I got.
If the Chaos win and the Archers don't make it, do the Archers need to blow up their team?
Yes.
I hate to say it, but I agree. I think they got to find some defensive pieces.
They're too soft. Different. They're too pretty.
It's a bunch of small guys. It's a bunch of small, quick guys. You know. I don't know. I mean, they're so talented, but I feel like the Chaos are just going to bully them.
I agree.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, see ya.
All right, peace. Well, there you have it, boys. Episode 16 in the books. Hope you enjoyed that one. I don't know about you guys, but I am feeling fired up about this Sunday. We're taking on Water Dogs on ABC, nationally televised game, 1 p.m. Eastern. Make sure y'all tune in and cheer on the Whipsticks. Winner goes to the championship next week in Philly, and I want to win! I want to win! Oh, if you guys like that video, please drop a like, leave a comment, share with a friend, do your thing, and yeah, tune into the game this Sunday. Peace.